The music was loud, glasses clinked under bright chandelier lights, and the luxurious ballroom buzzed with laughter and expensive conversations. Wealthy investors, celebrities, and business elites filled the hall, dressed in elegant suits and sparkling gowns. But none of them noticed the tension building inside Adrian Locke, a 38-year-old tech entrepreneur who stood near the balcony with a forced smile. To everyone else, this was just another glamorous evening. To Adrian, it was a reminder of the loneliness that success sometimes brings. And beside him stood a woman he had hired as his escort for the night, until she leaned slightly closer and whispered something that made his heart suddenly freeze. Before we continue this emotional story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that every person deserves understanding, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who loves inspiring stories, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories so we can continue bringing you meaningful stories that touch the heart. Her name was Leora Vale. She appeared confident on the outside, wearing a simple but elegant navy dress, her dark chestnut hair falling neatly over her shoulders, and her calm eyes quietly observing the room. At first glance, she seemed perfectly comfortable in a room full of wealthy strangers, yet something about her presence felt different. Adrian had only hired her earlier that evening through an agency, mostly to avoid attending the event alone. He had grown tired of the endless questions about his personal life, tired of people assuming that success meant happiness. Having someone by his side was easier than explaining why he felt empty in rooms full of applause. But when Leora quietly whispered that unexpected question about her age, Adrian noticed something in her voice that didn't sound like flirtation or nervous humor. It sounded like worry, the kind of worry that comes from carrying secrets heavier than they should be. For a moment, the lively music and chatter around them seemed to fade into the background. Adrian looked at her more carefully, realizing there was a quiet sadness behind her confident posture. As the evening continued, they moved through the party like two strangers sharing a quiet understanding. Instead of shallow, small talk, Adrian began noticing the thoughtful way Leora listened to conversations around her. She spoke carefully, choosing her words with surprising wisdom. When business executives discussed risky investments nearby, she casually pointed out details others had missed. When someone mentioned art and travel, she described places with the clarity of someone who had truly experienced the world. Slowly, Adrian realized something important. Leora wasn't simply someone hired to accompany him. She was someone who had lived a life full of difficult choices. During a quiet moment near the balcony overlooking the bright city lights, she finally shared a glimpse of her story. She explained how circumstances had forced her into work she never expected to do. Years earlier, she had been studying cultural history at a university, dreaming of becoming a museum curator. But family responsibilities, unexpected debt, and the sudden loss of financial support had pushed her into survival mode. Adrian listened carefully, feeling the weight behind every word. For the first time that evening, the party around them felt meaningless compared to the reality she described. He thought about his own journey, how he had once struggled to build his company from nothing, sleeping in tiny apartments and working endless nights. Success had eventually arrived, but somewhere along the way he had forgotten how many people were still fighting battles no one else could see. As the night moved forward, something surprising happened. Instead of playing the roles expected of them at the party, Adrian and Leora began talking honestly about dreams, fears, and second chances. Adrian realized that the woman standing beside him wasn't defined by the job she had taken. She was intelligent, thoughtful, and resilient. And Leora realized that the wealthy businessman beside her wasn't as distant or arrogant as many others she had met. Beneath the polished reputation was someone who still believed in fairness and opportunity. By the end of the evening, the ballroom had grown quieter as guests slowly left. The music softened, and the city lights shimmered through the tall windows. Adrian looked at Leora with a new perspective. Instead of saying goodbye like strangers, he offered something unexpected, an opportunity to help fund her education and return to the academic world she once loved. It wasn't charity. It was recognition of her potential and a belief that one difficult chapter should never define an entire life. Leora stood silently for a moment, overwhelmed by the possibility of a future she had almost stopped believing in. For the first time that evening, her confident smile softened into genuine hope. As this story comes near its end, if it touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, and share it so more people can hear this reminder that compassion can change someone's entire path. Special request: comment the word "second chance" if you believe everyone deserves the opportunity to rebuild their life.